guys, come on up if you want to check this out. Brett Homel from season 11 of The Biggest Loser is here, and you're gonna like what he has to do here.
Let's do
Give
it!
it up for Brett Homel!
Connecticut time, New Jersey, so it's good to be back on the East Coast. From Toronto and from Cali, I get the pleasure of introducing a friend of mine. You know her as the season 14 winner. She dropped 121 pounds, almost 50 pounds of her body weight. Can I get a round of applause and a big shout out for Miss Danny Eller? Come on now, Dee.
Such a fun day so far. We've been touring around Connecticut the past 2 days, and I think this is one of the best receptions we've gotten so far, so thank you guys so much. I'm excited to tell you guys a little bit about my story, along with how I did it, what I'm still doing, and then I think Brett and I have got a little sweat action going on for you guys, any takers that we have going on. So.
Right, jeans and flip-flops are welcome.
Yep.
All good.
No excuses.
So usually a lot of people have some very specific questions for her about diet, nutrition, being the last survivor for Jillian. So I know you have some questions that you're ready to ask. What would one of them be? Someone step up and do it. I know you got one back there. Yes, she's got one.
Can I shake your hand? Oh
yeah,
my God, it's so nice to meet you.
Hi, it's nice to meet you too.
You were a huge inspiration to me. I loved watching you throughout the season of The Biggest Loser, and it must have been so hard to have your teammates kind of drop out one by one, and you guys had such a small team towards the end. Like, what was the thing that really kept you going, even though you didn't really have like your at the ranch team support there, like most of the other team members?
Yeah, right in the beginning, we lost 2 players on the very first win. Lose TC and Nikki was really rough. There was 3 of us against the full team, and then right away the next week we lost Nate. So Pam and I were just like, what are we gonna do? We don't know what we're gonna do. We were panicking. We were using each other a lot, which was great. And then I lost Pam. And it was just me against the full red team, the full blue team, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. And I thought I was gonna be down and out. And then I was like, oh crap, America's gonna hate me because if I go home next week, Jillian Michaels leaves, and then there's no more Jillian Michaels, and that's why everyone's watching the show again. But I actually had to have a moment, and Jillian really sat down with me. She's like, this is pure irony. You have the disease to please. You always put other people first. You always worry about everyone else. You never concentrate on yourself. Now look where you're at. You got yourself. That's it. You're stuck with yourself. And it was kind of this moment of, the first couple of days was rough. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I actually think, like before going into the first workout with Jillian, I had to pee like 3 times because I was so nervous that I was like, oh crap, this is just me and Jill now. But after we got through those first few workouts, I realized, okay, I can do this, and concentrating 100% on myself, I was able to get the best results that I could. And at the end of that week, I hit, I think, a 9-pound weight loss, and Jillian started crying, and I started crying, and it was just this moment that we realized we can do it. And I hit that aha of, I really can do this, and I didn't necessarily, I call it like my blessing in disguise, losing my team, because it finally, for the first time, gave me the reason to concentrate and focus on myself. And I think everyone needs to spend that time on themselves and find out how strong you can be and not how strong you can make other people. Because when you are strong and you're the strongest you can be, that's when you can start helping other people be strong. And that's something I had to learn, and it was a great process to learn it. Thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Yeah?
Congratulations on your achievement. Watching it from a viewer's angle is really inspiring, and I really appreciate all your hard work. But how did you stay motivated even when you thought oh gosh, this weight is never gonna come off? How did you stay motivated during that?
During the show, it was really rough because a question we get asked a lot is really how much do we work out? In the beginning, we were working out about 8 hours a day. It was strictly moving, eat, sleep, pee. That's literally what we did all the time. And it got really frustrating how sore you got. You weren't with your family. You didn't have any sort of communication with the outside world. So there were days where you're just I don't even know if I can get out of bed. And what I had done, and Pam and I, we shared a room together, we put quotes up all over our room from Muhammad Ali to stuff that Jillian had said, all over our room. So it was constantly a reminder of what we were doing, how we were going to become stronger, and how to become champions through this process, regardless if we made it to the end or not. And I still carried that process through at home. So inside my vanity, when I open it up, there's this quote that we had from the show, along with past pictures that I keep up, and then I keep pictures on my phone all the time. I'm a visual person, so I constantly get reminded. And then the best thing about being with The Biggest Loser is social media. My Twitter is like the happiest place I can ever be sometimes if I'm having a bad day. Someone says, I lost 3 pounds this week because of blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh my God, that's the coolest thing that people are willing to share their stories. And so whenever I'm having a down day, I find someone else that can help inspire me as well. And that kind of gives me back up and moving again. And stuff like this. This is so cool. Thank you.
I'm training for my first half marathon actually in Chicago because I go to school at Deerfield. The Chicago half marathon in September.
Okay. I was like, I'm doing the rocket
Like, go to that one? No, I go to school in Deerfield, so I watched your finale at Viper Elm. But I wanted to know some health tips you have as far as like, 'cause I'm doing okay with the running, but I'm like not ever sure about what to eat before I run and like after because sometimes it's not enough and I don't want to like eat, I don't know, like slow down. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great question because running, first of all, everybody's bodies are different, so you do have to kind of test your own self and see what works as well. I'm the type where I really can't eat much beforehand, so I love those little blocks in the glue packets. I take those with me on my runs because they're little caffeine. Gatorade, I think makes the goo packets. Don't get the mocha, it's so gross. The blueberry is really good. You find the flavor that you like. Those are what help me because if I have anything in my stomach, I get crampy. It's not pretty when I start running. So I usually do water with electrolytes when I first start going, so that way it'll get flushed through my system. I do a little bit of caffeine in the beginning, and then as I go, I carry, they're called block or the Gatorade Goop. And every 3 or 4 miles, I either take half a block or half of a Goop in, and that keeps my caffeine going without filling my stomach. I hate the feeling of a full stomach when I run, and then it weighs you down. So when I run, that's what I do. I usually keep the Goop packets on with me, and then for like the half marathon at like the 11-mile mark, you get those caffeine beans, and then you're just like, yes, I can get those last 2 miles. So and they're all natural as well, so you don't have to worry about any processed sugars or anything with them as well. So those are nice things to keep for a run. But then if you're talking about carbo loading, this is so a myth. Do not carbo load the day before a race. It's the worst thing you could ever do. If you're gonna do it 2 days before, because that's when it'll actually affect you to get the energy, but you won't have like the lethargic, heavy build. So if you're gonna carbo load, first of all, no whites. Get rid of those white devils. Do the whole grains, the sweet potatoes, and that stuff. Do it 2 days before.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
I have another question. More about your experience on the ranch. You guys basically on a daily basis were working out more than like professional athletes were. So, and I know that professional athletes have like recovery times. You guys have to spend a lot of time like I'm saying like how many hours a day do you have to kind of just like get back to normal every day?
Normal didn't exist on the ranch, in all honesty. It literally was 8 hours working out a day, and we were sore. And it was between every workout, they had 4 ice baths ready for us, and it was really hold your breath and jump in. And we went up to like your skin in this ice bath every single day. And as much as it sucked, you knew that it was going to be even more later on when you didn't go into the ice bath. We did a lot of ice baths. We did a lot of stretching. We had a trainer down there, Katie from Bruce Awesome. We actually used to be a trainer for the club. We found in Chicago. And he stretched us really well before every single workout, every challenge. We did a lot of that, and a lot of it was overnight. We have stuff like compression gear, which is awesome for muscle recovery. You guys are gonna have like the really tight workout gear that's for compression. It just keeps your muscles tight, so that's what we work for. But a lot of it was a rolling out of bed process and just really getting yourself moving. The soreness never went away. They told us, like, oh, it'll get better with time. I'm like, no, it's getting worse because that's when workouts got more intense. The level more hits, you work out harder, and then the soreness just keeps coming. You always got it. There's always another muscle in it that you never get. So it was a lot of ice, a lot of when you were recovering, you were recovering. Don't be walking around, don't be sitting lay down, put your feet out, really recover, and that was the big thing. You spend just as much time recovering and stretching as you should working out. This is a great. She asked about maintaining right now. The best thing that I can do right now is nutrition. Keeping up the food aspect and counting my calories, I still do because just because I hit my goal weight doesn't mean I can go back to eating the stuff that I ate before, or how much I ate, or whenever I ate. So I make sure to keep track of what I eat. I still keep the lean proteins, lots of greens, and then the working out, I can get away with now 45 minutes to an hour a day. That's all the body really needs. You don't need to be doing extreme crazy stuff, and I still take a day, a week off. It's just counting calories. So I know, does everyone know what an RMR
they do it all for you. Just log into your computer or your iPhone and it syncs up. Yeah, they're awesome, and it just does all the work for you. And then you know, it checks yourself. You're like, yeah, I worked out today, but according to this thing, it said I didn't work out as much. So dinner time, maybe I'll eat just the lean chicken and broccoli, and I'll skip my little piece of dark chocolate. So. Oh, totally. And I don't just eat chicken. Like I eat chicken, I eat fish, I eat shrimp, I eat steak. I love steak. Red meat's really good for you though. What you'll have to learn is everyone's bodies are different, and I don't know if it's based off of like, you know, where you came from, where your nationality and all that's from. I'm very Mediterranean, so Mediterranean food tends to really work for me. So red meat is good. Some people can't process red meat, so you do need to find your own way. But mix it up with how you cook it, whether it's, you know, you can grill it, you can blacken it, you can season it this way, you can crock pot it, put in some lean pork loin. Those are really good as well. So keep your meats open as long as they're lean. Find different ways to flavor it. Just watch the fat and watch the salt and the sugar when you flavor it. Crock pots are great for that too because it keeps it really tender. On the show we had pork loins. We throw 2 in the morning and with all these vegetables, low sodium chicken broth. By the time we got home later that night, it was all perfect. It was really tender and you had all the veggies in there too as well. So the last thing you should ever do is eat the exact same thing over and over again because it gets tedious and redundant, and then you start to hate it, and that's when you binge because you're like it's not satisfying the hunger. So you gotta just keep it new, keep it fresh. Go on Yahoo, go on my site. I post some recipes that I do as well, and just keep changing it up. It gets boring, you know.
How do you keep, you know, eating right, exercising? Are you working out?
I'm back to work. I'm trying to balance that as well. So
Right, I do too.
it's been good. Honestly, I gave up all excuses in the book, whether it became is this time really fit. Last thing I do is I either find a gym, or I go to spin studios, or I keep Julian Michaels DVDs in my bag with me when I go. So if I actually can't leave, I literally had it in my hotel room last night. Like, oh, Julian's always with me. So there's always no excuse. You can always find 30 minutes a day. Everyone has 30 minutes a day, and that's all you need really. And then you get those days where you can get a little bit more in, and that's great. But the biggest thing is nutrition. 80% of it is nutrition. So I've gotten very good at keeping snacks with me, like whether it's fresh almonds or something. I tend to shop at like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's where there's no preservatives of any of these things.